Now at 9, the MODOK Nation in Miami provides resources and services for domestic violence victims. Plus, the Portugal Circus makes its way to the North Park Mall in Joplin, and Joplin Greenhouse and other organizations are coming together to provide relief for those affected by Hurricane Helene.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. I'm Anthony Saviello. October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and MODOK Nation Behavioral Health wants survivors to know they're not alone. KOAM's Melissa Alexis has more about the help available.
There is help available, that you're not alone.
According to the National Domestic Violence Hotline, it can take an average of 7 times for a survivor of domestic abuse to leave their abuser.
Through the process of domestic violence, a lot of times all of their support system is completely stripped away. So there isn't a big support to get them out of that situation.
To support survivors of abuse, MODOK Nation Behavioral Health in Miami provides experiential therapy. That's when people receiving treatment can connect with animals and nature.
We offer counseling and support services to survivors as they begin their journey in addressing the aftermath of trauma.
They also provide financial assistance to help victims get back on their feet.
We'll offer financial assistance for legal services related to the domestic violence, rental and utility deposits, rental assistance, and then also assistance for obtaining critical personal identification items such as driver's license and birth certificates.
She says it's important to be aware of the signs of domestic abuse, like changes in behavior and not seeing family or friends. Reporting in Miami, Melissa Alexis, KOAM News.
MODOK Nation partners with the Community Crisis Center and encourages the use of their free 24/7 hotline. A tragedy involving a bicycle and an SUV. It happened yesterday just before 5:30 p.m. on Cole Street in Granby, Missouri. According to the Missouri State Highway Patrol, a 10-year-old Granby boy riding the bike failed to stop at the stop sign and traveled into the path of the SUV. The child died at the scene. We'll take a first look at weather with meteorologist Lindsay Gaffney.
Well, temperatures have been above average for the last couple of days, but they're going to continue to warm up as we move through the weekend. Yesterday got up to the mid to upper 80s. Today, about 89 out in the Joplin area, but even higher in some surrounding counties. Now, our lows were down to low 60s, so this is about 10 to 15 degrees above average for our highs and our lows. Now, our record today was set back in 2020, 91 degrees, and we're forecasted to get up to 92 degrees tomorrow. So we'll likely break some records as we move into the weekend. Now tonight, clouds start to increase as we are going to have some cloudy days over the weekend as a cold front starts to move in. Unfortunately, no rain chances, but you can see those clouds starting to push into Wichita, and to start your day, mostly sunny, but still some clouds. Temperatures reaching record highs. I'll have those details coming up.
All right, Lindsay, thanks. The Big Top is back in the city of Joplin. The Do Portugal Circus begins a string of shows starting tonight and running until the 20th. The circus has delved its brand of high-flying family fun for 30 years now. Fans can expect aerialists and jugglers, fearless motorcycle riders inside the globe of death, and of course plenty of hilarious clowns. For one performer, preparation means everything.
I wake up 7, I go to the gym. After the gym, I come, I eat something. We practice for like 2-3 hours, take a little nap, and let's go, it's showtime. We have to prepare everything 2 or 3 hours before the show. We have to check that all the cables are good, that all the security belts are perfect, all the equipment that we use that is good, because our life is on the line.
Do Portugal Circus is a 5th-generation family-run circus. A Joplin nature group invited the public out to mark breast cancer awareness with a cup of coffee. Wildcat Glades hosted the Coffee on the Bridge event today. Supporters and coffee fans could come out to the Reddings Mill Bridge, enjoy a cup of Pearl coffee and donuts from Dude's Donuts, and show their support for survivors.
People always assume it's just women. They assume it has to be older. Doesn't matter your age, doesn't matter your gender. breast cancer happens to so many. It impacts every single family. I can't think of a family that's not had somebody that's impacted by breast cancer.
October marks Breast Cancer Awareness Month. The Joplin Greenhouse and Midwestern Built Fitness in Joplin are on a mission to help a buddy bring relief to his community who is affected by Hurricane Helene. KOAM's Lonnie Walton has the details of how you can get involved.
He has a 26-foot truck that we are trying to fill up with supplies and relief for those victims who have essentially lost everything.
Lily Moore from Joplin Greenhouse is talking about her friend Jeff Bear. She says he has connections in Asheville, an area destroyed by Hurricane Helene. She says he started this relief donation just for them.
From Jeff's words himself, he just could not sit and do nothing. He has personal ties to the community in Asheville. He went to a CrossFit gym there that was completely taken out. They were surged with 11 foot of floodwaters.
The coffee house is not the only one giving back. We met a local gym member who said he's giving back because of the pain he felt through the Joplin tornadoes.
If you think back to whenever we went through the Joplin tornado, it was all about people coming to us and bringing us supplies and helping our community, and to see that our community is rallying around that and helping another community that's gone through a natural disaster.
Adam England from Midwestern Built Fitness says people from all over come in just to give.
A real surprise because we'll randomly have someone come in the middle of the class and I'll be like, hey, how can I help you? And they're like, we have donations to bring in, and we're like, awesome.
Moore is thankful for the support from the community and hope they'll continue to help.
Of the truck tomorrow at Forest Park Church in Carthage, which is located at 2535 Grand Avenue in Carthage from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m.
Reporting in Joplin, I'm Lonnie Walton, KOAM News.
Moore says many items are still needed, everything from cleaning supplies to canned goods. She also put an emphasis on water. Well, coming up, FEMA is requesting more funding for those affected by the hurricanes on the East Coast.
The hurricanes, Congress, and the politics of disaster relief. I'm Chad Pergram on Capitol Hill. More on that story coming up.
New research says the amount of time the average American spends scrolling, streaming, and binging on devices translates into 3 days a month. Talker research questioned 2,000 Americans about their viewing habits. The amount of time they spend on their devices comes to 36 days a year, and younger people report even more time than that. Members of Gen Z who are between 12 and 27 years old reported feeling like they lose closer to 5 days a month. 42% of the people surveyed said they felt like they were consuming too much media. U.S. officials are warning the nation about the rise of illegal online pharmacies. The DEA issued a public safety report about outlets selling fake or counterfeit medications. Agents say these typically foreign companies usually have generic names like pharmacystoresonline.com or orderpainkillersonline.com. According to the DEA, the drugs sold are often not from reputable pharmaceutical giants, but rather from drug traffickers. Taking these products could be harmful or possibly fatal. The Justice Department recently announced criminal charges against 18 defendants who are accused of operating fake online pharmacies. There are many dangers COVID-19 can pose to a person, but a new study suggests the virus can have a significant impact on heart and brain health for years after infection. In today's Health Minute, Mandy Gaither has a look at the data and explains why researchers say everyone who's had COVID-19 should be aware.
In 2020, before vaccines were available, people who caught COVID-19 had twice the risk of a major cardiovascular problem like heart attack or stroke as those who didn't test positive, according to a new study.
What was also surprising is that the extent of that risk did not show any sign of diminishing or attenuation with time.
Dr. Stanley Hazen with Cleveland Clinic is co-senior study author. He says those risks and medical records studied stayed up to 3 years after infection, and those who had been hospitalized with severe illness from the virus were at even greater risk for heart problems.
That is, if similar to the risk of someone who had one heart attack and what their risk for having a second heart attack was.
Hazen says the risk also varied on blood type. Researchers say people with certain non-O blood types like A or B are already at higher risk of cardiovascular diseases, but the study found those with O-type blood who were hospitalized for COVID didn't have quite as high of a risk of heart attack or stroke. While the study did not look at the effects of vaccination on cardiovascular risk, Hazen says since the severity of the COVID-19 infection is linked to long-term cardiac risk, getting protected from COVID-19 through vaccination is critical.
If you have had COVID, I suggest think about heart disease and getting your cholesterol checked and your blood pressure checked.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
The researchers only studied older adults, but they say there's reason to believe they'd see the same results in younger people who have a history of COVID-19. They also suggest lowering cardiac risk through healthy lifestyle habits like eating a healthy diet and getting regular exercise. Lindsay is next with a complete look at the forecast, and later, how companies affected by Hurricane Milton are trying to stay profitable.
Well, it's been a warm couple of days and we still are reaching record high temperatures tomorrow. Taking a look outside downtown Joplin from the Cornell Arts and Entertainment Complex. So far, mostly clear night, but we are going to have some clouds rolling in later on this evening. No rain, but cloudy night, and those will clear out for most of the day tomorrow. However, we're still going to have a few clouds throughout the day on Saturday. Temperatures are starting off in the mid to lower 60s early in the morning on Saturday, but we're warming up to the low 90s for our high. Now, we do have a wind shift line that is moving in late Saturday night into early Sunday morning. Temperatures dropping down again to the lower 60s. There's that wind shift line. And then again, some more clouds here and there. So we're going to have partly cloudy skies both Saturday and Sunday, plus a little bit of a windier weekend as well. Winds gusting up to 20-25 miles per hour through Sunday. And then here comes that wind shift line. Now along the wind shift line, winds are not so strong, but then behind that line, so behind this cold front, winds start to gust up to 25-30 miles per hour starting early Sunday morning about 8 a.m. So when you're getting up, getting ready to start your day, you're going to be met with a bit of a breezy day. Now, again, no rain chances along this front, but we are going to have some clouds as well as cooler temperatures. That's not starting until Sunday, though. We've got record high temperatures set for Saturday. Today, our record was set back in 2020 at 91 degrees, but you can see tomorrow our forecast is up to 92 degrees out in Joplin, plus even higher in some other areas, 93, 94 degrees. It's going to be a pretty hot day, especially for mid-October. Now, after the winds shift, we're going to have a cooler start to the week. Temperatures as low as about 81 degrees on Sunday, so near 10-degree drop in temperatures starting Sunday, but then even reaching the upper 60s for our highs both Monday and Tuesday. Unfortunately, we do warm right back up. So you can see we've got this cold front that's moving in late Saturday night into early Sunday morning. There are the clouds from it, stemming from a low pressure that's up in northeast U.S. or Canada. And as that pushes through, we are going to have those clouds that move in. But other than that, we've got another ridge that starts to form over our area for the second half of the work week. So starting Wednesday, there's that ridge. It's a pretty stark ridge. Now, that's going to be warming us up. So we do get back up to the 80s again through the second half of the work week. But this flow is much different than what we've seen. We're actually seeing a low pressure starting off in western U.S. and actually pushing through our area all the way through next weekend. So we've got some rain chances forecasted for next weekend with that low pressure that is going to be shifting further south into our area. Finally, we haven't seen a low pressure come through our area in quite some time, but you can see temperatures starting off this weekend. 81 degrees Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, upper 60s. We do warm right back up to upper 70s, low 80s. And then next weekend, we've got those rain chances along that cold front. That's likely going to be moving in later Sunday and into Monday, and then temperatures drop.
Lindsay, thanks. Power outages across Florida after a pair of devastating hurricanes have officials working around the clock. After Floridians suffered billions of dollars in storm damage, FEMA is warning more funding will be needed to get through the fiscal year. Fox's Chad Pergram is on Capitol Hill with what Congress can do and what President Biden has to say about additional disaster relief.
Scenes like these stretching across more than 24 Florida counties, 2 days after Hurricane Milton slammed into Florida. State officials say power is back on for nearly 2 million Floridians as of Friday morning, but just as many remain in the dark.
This needs to be a 24/7, every day of the week operation, not taking any days off.
FEMA's administrator says the Disaster Relief Fund has enough money for now. But after Helene and Milton, Deanne Criswell warned there isn't enough money to handle future disasters without a refill from Congress.
We will need one. It's just a matter of when.
President Biden repeating his calls for Congress to return to session. He says both FEMA and the Small Business Administration need more money and should pass emergency relief immediately.
We'll need a lot more money as we identify specifically how much is needed. So I'm just telling everybody now, I don't want to hear that this is going to be the end of it.
Some Republicans say the back-to-back hurricanes are reason to redirect foreign funding, such as for the war in Ukraine, so lawmakers can help with the disasters.
Frankly, right now we have Americans that are suffering, and so I do believe that those resources would be better spent here at home.
Congress freed up $20 billion for FEMA last month, but House Speaker Mike Johnson says additional money must wait until Congress returns in November. On Capitol Hill, Chad Pergram, Fox News.
President Biden is scheduled to travel to Florida this weekend to survey damage and visit with victims and first responders. Coming up, companies doing their best in the wake of devastation.
Remote work could be the key to a natural disaster resilience workforce. I'm Chanley Painter. That and much more coming up.
Cleanup and recovery continuing across Florida after Hurricanes Helene and Milton flipped the Sunshine State on its head. While victims rush to try and pick up the pieces and restore normalcy, some companies are trying to prevent impacts to their bottom line. Fox News correspondent Chanley Painter takes a closer look at what some businesses say can be done to create more storm-resilient workforces.
Hurricane Milton flexed its might across Florida, upending communities across the state with devastating wind, rain, and storm surge.
My husband was crying, I was crying, because we just couldn't believe it.
The path of destruction is expansive, and the road to recovery could be even longer, altering the lives and productivity of impacted people and businesses. Dr. Mark Bindon of Texas A&M University has spent years researching how to make the nation's workforce more resilient in the aftermath of natural disasters. His findings reveal remote work opportunities can help employees and their companies bounce back faster.
Those workers are able to quickly, in fact, less than 30 days, get back up to speed and be productive.
The research points to the flexibility provided by today's technology.
They could operate remotely from actually multiple locations equally well as they could in a really well outfitted modern office environment.
Dr. Bindon says these results are remarkable given how massive switch ups to people's lives can be so jarring.
Normally when you pull people out of their primary environment and drop them into another one, there's a loss to the business in productivity and output. We just didn't see that after about 30 days. It returned to at least the same levels, and in some individuals it even exceeded the levels of productivity and output that they were able to have in the traditional office.
While many large companies in storm-battered regions have contingency plans for extreme weather, Dr. Bindon says small businesses may lack the critical funds. I'm Chanley Painter, Fox News.
Tools to limit screen time on TikTok apparently serve little purpose. That's according to mistakenly released unredacted documents regarding the social media giant. They're linked to a major lawsuit filed by a bipartisan group of 14 attorney generals. The suit alleges the platform has harmed the mental health of young people. In these documents, TikTok executives reportedly discussed potential dangers for teenage users. The company unveiled time management tools for minors, but a TikTok executive is quoted in the document saying their goal is, quote, not to reduce the time spent on the app. The lawsuit also claims TikTok officials knew the time limit tools reduced daily usage only a minute and a half, yet they did nothing about it. The NCAA is calling on fans to stop abusing athletics on social media after its first online harassment study. The pilot looks at more than 72,000 posts aimed at players, coaches, and officials. It focuses on Division I championships. Analysts who reviewed the messages say more than 5,000 contained abuse, discrimination, or threats. They say a large portion of those messages were aimed at female March Madness athletes. The NCAA partnered with Signify Group to conduct the research. Next, we'll take a look at a week filled with art. Art is everywhere, from tattoos to a Monet pastel to the Northern Lights. Here's all that and more, and take a look at this.
With tattoos during Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Breast cancer survivors got free tattoos at an annual event in Columbus, Ohio. The goal? Helping them find closure by taking control of their bodies after a mastectomy. The group Personal Inc., or P-Inc., links survivors with tattoo artists who donated their time and talent. Tabitha Atkins traveled from Charleston and chose a mermaid design.
There's always beauty in the depths. Sometimes you have to look a little harder, but there's always beauty.
And from body art to impressionism, the Nazis stole this Claude Monet pastel from a Jewish couple in Vienna in 1940. More than 80 years later, the FBI finally returned it to the granddaughters of the original owners this week. They live in New Orleans. Mother Nature was the artist Thursday night. She fired up the Northern Lights for displays across the United States, Europe, and parts of Australia. You're seeing the Aurora Borealis from spots in Connecticut and New Jersey. And if a penguin in New Zealand is into art, she can view it more clearly after surgery to remove a cataract from her right eye. Sea Life Kelly Charlton's aquarium says Melody has made a full recovery after 2 months. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jim Robottom.
30 more minutes of news, weather, and sports coming your way. Coming up, Middle East conflicts are continuing to increase.
As fighting ramps up between Hezbollah and Israel, a UN position once again gets caught in the crossfire. I'm Greg Palcott in Haifa. That's my story. Coming up.
You're watching the 4 states' most watched news.
Ground clashes between Israel and Hezbollah continue to spread, and the UN was once again caught in the crossfire on Friday. It comes as Israeli forces launch an air raid on central Beirut. Fox News correspondent Greg Palcott has more.
Fighting between Israeli forces and Hezbollah spreading across southern Lebanon on Friday. For the second time in 48 hours, the UN peacekeeping force in Lebanon says a round of explosions hit its headquarters. 2 UNIFIL workers were reportedly injured. The Israeli military admitted to opening fire in the area on Thursday, but says it ordered the peacekeepers to seek shelter.
This severe impediment to the mission's freedom of movement within the area of operation has limited the mission's monitoring and reporting ability.
The strikes come as Israel ramps up its air campaign against Hezbollah. Overnight strikes on central Beirut hit 2 residential buildings, killing more than 20 people and injuring dozens more in what was one of the deadliest attacks on the city in more than a year of war.
We lived through the war and the previous wars. It was not like what we are seeing and hearing now.
The region remains on high alert following Iran's massive ballistic missile strike on Israel last week. The Israeli Security Cabinet met Thursday to discuss a possible response. Still, the Biden administration says it remains hopeful about a possible ceasefire deal.
We're focused on resolving the border situation diplomatically and supporting whatever the Lebanese choose to do in terms of the state asserting its responsibilities.
Meanwhile, Israel's military says an anti-tank missile fired from Lebanon injured a man working on a farm in the north. In Haifa, Greg Palcott, Fox News.
The search for survivors is underway at a collapsed building in central Beirut, hours after 2 Israeli strikes. Thursday's strikes were considered the deadliest attack on central Beirut in over a year, killing at least 22 people and wounding dozens of others. Hezbollah's Al-Manar television and Israeli media were both reporting the strikes were conducted to kill Wafik Safa, a top security official. Al-Manar said Safa was not in either building at the time of the blast. Israeli military would not comment on the reports. Pope Francis met with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky at the Vatican. The trip is part of Zelensky's tour through Europe to meet with world leaders. The two exchanged gifts during Friday's meeting. The Pope gave Zelensky a bronze cast symbol of peace. Zelensky presented a painting depicted the brutal Bucha war tragedy in Ukraine. The Pope has been a mediator in the Russia-Ukraine war. However, the Vatican has been criticized for not directly blaming Russia for the war. Relations have been improving, though, and the Pope is expected to continue peacekeeping efforts. A court in Russia has sentenced a U.S. citizen to nearly 7 years in prison Monday for fighting as a mercenary for Ukraine. That's according to Russian state media. 72-year-old Stephen Hubbard of Michigan reportedly pleaded guilty last month. According to a state media outlet, Russian prosecutors accused him of fighting with Ukraine in the key city of Izum after signing a contract for about $1,000 a month. Russian forces detained him in April 2022. The trial and sentencing took place behind closed doors in a Moscow court. A bit later, some big news for Super Mario lovers.
Get ready to join Mario and friends for an all-new adventure. I'm Eamon Dignam in New York, and if you just can't wait, I have some good news for you.
Well, it's been a warm couple of days and we still are reaching record high temperatures tomorrow. Taking a look outside downtown Joplin from the Cornell Arts and Entertainment Complex. So far, mostly clear night, but we are going to have some clouds rolling in later on this evening. No rain, but cloudy night, and those will clear out for most of the day tomorrow. However, we're still going to have a few clouds throughout the day on Saturday. Temperatures are starting off in the mid to lower 60s early in the morning on Saturday, but we're warming up to the low 90s for our high. Now, we do have a wind shift line that is moving in late Saturday night into early Sunday morning. Temperatures dropping down again to the lower 60s. There's that wind shift line. And then again, some more clouds here and there. So we're going to have partly cloudy skies both Saturday and Sunday, plus a little bit of a windier weekend as well. Winds gusting up to 20-25 miles per hour through Sunday. And then here comes that wind shift line. Now along the wind shift line, winds are not so strong, but then behind that line, so behind this cold front, winds start to gust up to 25-30 miles per hour starting early Sunday morning about 8 a.m. So when you're getting up, getting ready to start your day, you're going to be met with a bit of a breezy day. Now, again, no rain chances along this front, but we are going to have some clouds as well as cooler temperatures. That's not starting until Sunday, though. We've got record high temperatures set for Saturday. Today, our record was set back in 2020 at 91 degrees, but you can see tomorrow our forecast is up to 92 degrees out in Joplin, plus even higher in some other areas, 93, 94 degrees. It's going to be a pretty hot day, especially for mid-October. Now, after the winds shift, we're going to have a cooler start to the week. Temperatures as low as about 81 degrees on Sunday, so near 10-degree drop in temperatures starting Sunday, but then even reaching the upper 60s for our highs both Monday and Tuesday. Unfortunately, we do warm right back up. So you can see we've got this cold front that's moving in late Saturday night into early Sunday morning. There are the clouds from it, stemming from a low pressure that's up in northeast U.S. or Canada. And as that pushes through, we are going to have those clouds that move in. But other than that, we've got another ridge that starts to form over our area for the second half of the work week. So starting Wednesday, there's that ridge. It's a pretty stark ridge. Now, that's going to be warming us up. So we do get back up to the 80s again through the second half of the work week. But this flow is much different than what we've seen. We're actually seeing a low pressure starting off in western U.S. and actually pushing through our area all the way through next weekend. So we've got some rain chances forecasted for next weekend with that low pressure that is going to be shifting further south into our area. Finally, we haven't seen a low pressure come through our area in quite some time, but you can see temperatures starting off this weekend. 81 degrees Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, upper 60s. We do warm right back up to upper 70s, low 80s. And then next weekend, we've got those rain chances along that cold front. That's likely going to be moving in later Sunday and into Monday, and then temperatures drop.
Super Mario and friends are returning for a new adventure in the new Super Mario Party Jamboree game. Fox News got a visit to Nintendo's U.S. headquarters for a sneak peek. Fox's Eamon Dignam has more in this edition of Fox on Games.
From the cozy confines of basement game rooms to the spirited atmosphere of college dorms, the Mario Party series has always been a beloved mainstay across a broad spectrum of players. And now, this latest installment ups the ante with a whopping total of 110 mini-games and a roster of 22 characters. And lucky for you, you get to try before you buy. A sneak peek demo version is now available at select major retailers. Whether you're up for competing online or prefer a classic offline session with friends, Super Mario Party Jamboree offers new game modes tailored for every kind of partygoer. It's a game that evolved with us, from pizza and beer parties to family-friendly fun with the next generation. Fox got the chance to go hands-on with Super Mario Party Jamboree, and let me tell you, we were board game bandits. With the new 20-person Koopathlon mode, the thrills just got bigger and faster. And if you're curious, yes, I did come out on top in our Bowser Kaboom Squad challenges. To spice things up, the game is set to unveil some unexpected characters from the Mushroom Kingdom and beyond, like Pauline, the iconic damsel in distress from Donkey Kong and Mario's original leading lady. Super Mario Party Jamboree is set to hit shelves on October 17th. For more stories about your favorite video games, subscribe to the Fox on Tech, Fox on Games podcast every weekend. In New York, Eamon Dignam, Fox News.
Well, coming up, a scrapbook found at an antique store finds its way back to the original owner. One Alaskan woman is proving that you never know what you'll find at a thrift store. Last year, she purchased a scrapbook that ended up containing another family's priceless memories, and she's been trying to track the rightful owner down since. Georgina Fernandez has there for the big reunion.
1960s or 50s, there's wedding photos.
This isn't what Christine Odatoa was expecting to see.
I didn't want to take the pictures out or destroy the back of the photos, you know.
When she bought what she thought was an empty $4 photo album from Bishop's attic last year.
They're priceless. I know.
That album, actually someone's scrapbook containing priceless moments from years past. From snapshots of someone's childhood to family gatherings to wedding day.
I don't know if it was accidentally thrown away, but I'd rather return it and have somebody share these memories. Get them back. You never know. It might mean a lot to them.
So we went to work trying to find the album's rightful owner. And that's when we met Alan Latuska, the blonde 10-year-old in these photos.
Well, yeah, the old station wagon, I remember that.
On Thursday, Latuska finally reuniting with the scrapbook after he last saw it 10 years ago. A chance opportunity to revisit old memories and loved ones.
Yeah, a little emotional. And the more I look, the more emotional I'm getting, so yeah.
As for how these memories ended up in a thrift shop, he's unsure, telling us he thinks the scrapbook could have been stolen. His mom's storage unit, the last place he saw it, was broken into a decade ago.
You know, they could have thrown it away if they would have taken it, but they apparently decided to save it, and that's good.
Some good luck, too, with it ending up in this stranger's hands.
Hi!
Oh. Hey, I wanted to introduce you to someone.
Okay.
Hi, Christine. I'm Alan.
A stranger who wanted these photos returned to a familiar home.
I really appreciate you saving it and not tossing them.
Well, it's somebody's memories, and you can never get those pictures back.
A price tag of a few bucks.
They are priceless, and I would gladly pay her back the $4.
Worth more than Oda Toa could have ever known.
Well, that's our time for tonight. Thanks for joining us. We'll leave you with video of the Columbus Day Balloon Regatta in Columbus, Kansas. From all of us here at KOAM, have a great night.